Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? Welcome back to my channel. This is the look that we are doing today. This is a very special guest. This is my best friend, Lauren. We've been best friends for 17 years. She's been in town this weekend, so I was like, you know what? Let me do a quick little hair toot and makeup slay on your face for my YouTube channel. So here we go. We're doing just a simple look for her hair. Lauren just recently got her hair crocheted with Senegalese twists, I think maybe 2 weekends ago. So we're just going to do a little half and half top knot situation here, if you will. So basically all I'm doing now is just trying to section out her hair, make sure everything's nice and even with the sections. After I get her hair nice and even, I'm going to go ahead and start trying to smooth out that top part right there so that way it doesn't get too lumpy. After we get that, I'm going to make sure that I secure the ponytail right at the crown of the head, and then once I get that nice and secure, I'm going to start to twist the bun up on her head. As you can see, boom, there it goes right there. So I'm just starting to twist it up. Then once I get it twisted to secure it, I am going to take a band around it. And then once I get her hair nice and banded, I'm just going to go in with a few bobby pins just to make sure there aren't any little stray hairs peeking out, and also get rid of any lumps by sticking them down with the bobby pins. So that's her hair, super simple. Now let's go ahead and get into this makeup. Starting off to prep her skin, I'm using the Badescu Rose Water Spray. After that, we're going to go ahead and jump right on into the Loreal Magic Perfecting Base. Lauren has great skin and great brows, so whenever I'm doing makeup on a client, I always like to look to see what their best features are, and then that is what we're going to play up the most. So I already did the right brow. We're just going to slightly fill in the left one. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Pencil in dark brown. I like to start up under the brow first just to outline it, and then of course with this very, very small short strokes going vertical to make everything, give it the illusion, you know, that it is brow hair. And of course, you already know, use a spoolie just to kind of blend everything out so that way it's not too harsh. Moving on to the eyes, I'm priming her eyelid with the Kat Von D High Voltage Eye Primer. Lauren has a small set eye, so for smaller set eyes, there are definitely a few tips and tricks when doing the eyeshadow work. I like to start off in the inner corner first because with smaller set eyes, you want to give the illusion that the eye is bigger. So putting in just like a lighter color in the inner tear duct is going to instantly brighten the eyes, open it, and helps to appear to make them look a little bit bigger. I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Heat Palette, and I believe the shade I'm using is called Lumbar. It's like a golden pinky tone with a pencil brush, and I'm just going to put that right in the inner tear duct of her eyes. Next up, I'm taking the brush that actually comes with the palette, and I'm using the shade Ember. It's like this kind of like this warm purpley sparkly tone. I like to put shimmer tones on smaller set eyes, sometimes just simply because it's going to instant give it like a little twinkle, but please beware if you have a hooded eye. Lauren doesn't really so much have a hooded eye. It's just that her eye, it's just her eyelid is just very, very small, so there's not a lot of room to work with. I feel like what a lot of people do is when they're working with smaller eyes, they will do all of the eye work with their client's eye closed, and then when they open it, everything is gone. So because she does have a small eyelid, I like to use a color that's going to kind of make her eyelid pop out a little bit more, and then I'll go in like on the crease area to kind of give her the illusion of a crease and just blend everything out. Now I'm going in with the fluffy brush. This brush is actually from Anastasia Beverly Hills. One of her palettes actually like the brush that comes with that palette. But as you can see, I'm just taking that warm, that chocolate brown tone, and I like to work it on the outside and in the crease, just blending everything together. One thing that you really want to take heed of, especially if you do have a legit hooded eye, Lauren's eye isn't so much hooded, she just has small eye space to work with. However, if you do have a hooded eye and you take your, let's say you're using a shimmer tone and you take that too high, you might get a little bit of transfer. So that's definitely something that you want to think about. Next up is eye cream. I always put eye cream on all of my clients before I do any type of concealer, foundation. It's just always good to hydrate that area because it is a very delicate area. And so sorry if you can hear Rocket, he is on the balcony barking, of course. Okay, so moving right along, Lauren has really good skin. She doesn't have oily skin. She doesn't have combination skin. She basically has normal skin. If anything, she might get a little dry from time to time, but she's just basically, she has the ideal skin. She's got good skin, as you guys can see. But I'm just taking the Kat Von D Lock It Cream Concealer, and I'm starting that up under the eye, and then I'm working towards the outside of the face. This is my technique as far as how I like to do any type of concealing foundation on my clients, especially if I'm working with anyone of woman of color, just simply because we tend to have 2 to 3 different shades on our face. So just depending on the skin needs, if I need to do a lot of coverage, then I will do so, but Lauren doesn't really need a ton of coverage, so I like to start in the center of the face, either highlighting and concealing, whatever the case may be, and then once I am done concealing the center of the face, then I'll go ahead and I'll move on to the perimeter of the face. Now with the perimeter of the face, just depending on what I want to do, I might contour, I might do some bronzing, or I just might use a foundation shade that is either exactly the same skin tone or maybe just a touch darker, just depends. So for the perimeter of the face, I decided to go with the Makeup Forever Ultra HD stick. This works great because it's basically the same skin tone as Lauren. So I'm just going to go on the outside in any place that I did not lay down any concealer. And then with a different Real Techniques damp sponge, I'm just going to go ahead and start to blend that right on out. There she is. She wants to show the product. So I love this stick foundation just simply because it is Makeup Forever. They make really great foundations, and their foundations, you can pretty much work them on any skin tone, any skin type, and any age. So it could be, you know, college girls, high school, middle-aged women, and more mature women. So I really like that foundation a lot. And then just making sure I'm blending out. Whenever I'm blending out the foundation on the perimeter, I kind of go a little bit over wherever I lay down the concealer or highlight, just so that way I can melt the two together and everything will kind of blend and be cohesive. Alright, so Lauren loves contour. She likes to look nice and snatched, so I'm going to take the Urban Decay Shapeshifter palette in the tone medium dark, and that cream contour shade there is definitely deep enough for her skin. I want to use this on her because I use it on myself, and Lauren is a touch darker than I am, so I want to show you guys that you can use it if you do have a deeper skin tone than myself, and as you can see, it works beautifully. So everyone's gonna contour differently. That's my only thing about doing contour videos on YouTube, which is simply because everyone's face shape is different, but Lauren has a little bit more of a rounder face shape, so I'm just really gonna go ahead and try to chisel out her cheekbones here, and I'm using another damp another damp Real Techniques sponge to blend everything out. And this is Lauren's palette I actually got for her. This is the Tartiest Contour 3 palette. And I'm taking a dupe NARS Ita brush, and I'm just going to go right there. Yep, right there where I laid down that cream contour. And I'm just going to go right on over it. And that shade, look, that's a gorgeous contour shade for her. So I'm just going to go ahead and work that on the jawline. And just kind of going back and forth over it to blend it out. So Lauren definitely doesn't have a ginormous forehead like myself, so I don't really contour too much on her forehead because it will shrink it dramatically and it will just look a little bit strange. So I just went over the hairline just a little bit to add dimension, and then I'm doing the same thing with the brush here. Not doing like a strong nose contour because me personally, I'm just not a fan of it, but just, you know, bringing dimension to her face. Next up, to clean up that contour, I'm just going to take this angled dense brush here. I have no idea what brush this is. I'm so sorry. I feel like it's a Morphe brush. I'm just not sure, but it does have a slight angle. And I'm just going to go under her contour here with some Sacha Buttercut powder. This is going to just help to really cut and shape and chisel everything out. Also, this is great for, let's say, if you get too messy with your contour or bronzer. This is an excellent way to clean it up. Then I'm just going to take a fluffy powder brush here, and I'm just going to go ahead and wipe that away. Next up, we're gonna bronze her up just a touch. Oh no, we're not bronzing. I'm actually gonna add a little bit of blush. This blush is from the Tartiest 3 contour palette, and I like to put her I like to put her blush just right on the apples of her cheeks, and then bring it a little bit further back. You don't want to put your blush too far down low, because if you bring your blush too far down, it will make your face sag, and nobody's trying to have a saggy face. And then ever so lightly highlighting. Lauren's like me, she doesn't like a ton of highlight either. I think we're the only people that don't like it. Now I'm going to go back in with a damp sponge with some more Sacha Buttercut powder, and any places that I have not put any powder, I'm just going to go ahead and set those. Like I said, because Lauren's not severely oily, it's not a big deal if I don't hit every spot with translucent powder. So I'm just going over under the eye area, forehead, to make sure everything's nice and set in place. Then I'm tight lining. Because she has a smaller eye set, you do not want to do a thick liner at all, because what it will happen is it will just completely black out the eye, and then all the eye work will be gone, and then on top of that, the eye's just going to look smaller. Same thing, especially for the waterline. You want to get directly in the waterline with a very thin line, because you don't want to shrink the eyes anymore. I don't want to shrink the eyes, however, I do want to add a little bit of dimension. So what I like to do is I'll take like a black, dark plum, purple tone, whatever I'm working with at the moment, and a pencil brush. And what I like to do is just smoke out the bottom corner of the eye, because what happens is if you just smoke out the bottom corner of the eye, it won't shrink the eye. Now, if I were to take this pencil brush with the black eyeshadow and go all the way across her waterline, it would close her eye up big time, and we don't want to close her eye. Then I was just going back in with just a touch more of the inner tear duct color, just to make sure her eyes are nice and popping. And Lauren loves falsies, and I always recommend falsies on anyone that has a smaller eye set. So I'm going to load up her lashes with some mascara first, and then I'm going to go ahead and throw on some of these Demi Wispies. I think these are Demi Wispies. Ardell Lashes on her eyes. And to finish off the look, I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Lip Gloss in Kristen. And that's it, guys. That's going to complete the look. Alright, this is the look. We're all done. Turn to the side, Lauren. So we just did like a light little not natural. We did a light glam for her. Turn to the other side. And forward. And she's all cute and whatever. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Give me a big thumbs up if you guys want to see me do more makeup on other people. I will see you in my next video.
Subscribe, like, tell your friends.